Welcome back to the 11th hour. It's a question we have asked repeatedly on this broadcast. Why such devotion from the president for his former national security advisor, Mike Flynn? What is it? Today, Yahoo published a report that Flynn says he got a message from the president late last month to, quote, stay strong. And the Daily Beast reporting that Trump had to talk Flynn into taking a White House job and hopes Flynn can later return to yet another White House role. Adding to the palace intrigue today, questions about how much Mike Pence was kept in the dark on Flynn's transgressions. Officially, the White House has denied yesterday's New York Times story that the Trump transition team knew Flynn was under investigation as early as January 4th. But a source tells NBC News Pence knew nothing about any of this, citing a potential pattern of not informing the vice president and calling that pattern malpractice or intentional. Either are unacceptable. We welcome back to the broadcast, and let's bring in our panel, MSNBC anchor and co-host, and exactly 50% of the new Velshi and Rule, which will premiere on this network this Saturday at 12:30 Eastern. Ali Velshi and Matthew Nussbaum, White House reporter for Politico, whose latest piece has this headline and really got our attention tonight. Quote, conservatives begin to whisper President Pence. All right, Mr. Nussbaum, you get to go first. Explain the headline and what's in your piece.
Well, I think it's the worst kept secret in Washington that for many Republicans on Capitol Hill, on K Street, they would rather Mike Pence be the president than Donald Trump. And for the first time since that Access Hollywood tape famously came out during the campaign, that actually feels like a possibility, even though it's still far-flung. However, these problems that Pence is having that you just brought up, this what did he know, when did he know it, he's either been kept in the dark or he's been delivering misleading statements. Neither one looks good from his perspective, means there's troubles on the horizon for him. But still, compared to Donald Trump, he's many Republicans' dream.
And Matthew, you can understand that quote that NBC News got from a West Wing official, and that is that if he was kept in the dark, well, that's just malpractice. The only thing worse is if he wasn't and learned all of this stuff, because that goes on his permanent record, and it's very possible a whole lot of attention is about to be laid on Mike Pence.
Exactly, and this notion that he was just repeatedly kept in the dark on these extremely sensitive matters around the National Security Advisor is just kind of absurd. I mean, I've spoken to people in Pence's circle. That's the message they're pushing. Look, he didn't know about this. The White House is still saying that Trump wasn't informed about this Flynn Turkish lobbying deal. But how many times can Pence go out there and make statements that turn out later not to be true or to be very dubious and just get a pass on, oh, well, maybe he wasn't told about it? There's just something's not ringing true there. Ali Velshi, to a more elemental question, we asked this on the broadcast last night and probably the night before. What is it about Trump and Flynn? What is it?
So we're not even 2 years into this relationship, which is odd. They met in the summer of 2015. And what may be working in Donald Trump's favor is that, we're not quite sure how he treats those around him, right? He's used some people conveniently. Jim Comey comes to mind, Chris Christie. But he's very loyal, Rudy Giuliani, but he's very loyal to Mike Flynn. So we're not quite sure what this is all about. On one level, you can say, hey, he's loyal to somebody. That's actually pretty good. On the other hand, if this is true that he was sending messages to Mike Flynn to say, stay strong, that he was convincing Mike Flynn to take this job and Mike Flynn was reluctant to do so, the whole thing is just a little bit odd. But Donald Trump does seem to want to keep a circle around him who he trusts. And now that he's finding that he doesn't trust all of those around him, he started to bring in people from his old campaign circle. We're seeing names like Corey Lewandowski showing up at the White House again. So Donald Trump is working hard to try and surround himself by people who he thinks are loyal to him. And in his mind, Michael Flynn was one of those guys.
Matthew, that Lewandowski story is a Politico story tonight, mentioning him and a couple others who've re-entered the circle.
It's almost like a security blanket in some ways, bringing back these old characters from earlier in the campaign. But it's not a good idea, many around Trump will say, to bring someone like Corey Lewandowski, who was so much trouble during the campaign, back into the picture. But we know Donald Trump likes to be in touch with these old hands. According to reports, he still talks on the phone with Roger Stone. So there's these characters who are a little unseemly, who maybe aren't the healthiest for for him to be still in contact with. But he likes being in touch with them, and as we know, he sort of does what he wants.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.